Start by looking at a typical worn-out kitchen. The surfaces are grimy, the finish is chipped, and the entire space feels outdated. Compare that to the pristine, showroom-quality cabinets you see in high-end remodels. Bridging that gap by ripping everything out and installing brand-new custom cabinets will easily cost upwards of $15,000. But if you master professional refinishing techniques, you bypass that massive expense completely. That mastery starts with a strict prerequisite checklist. You cannot use a cheap synthetic nylon brush for this project. Because we are using oil-based paints, you are required to use a high-quality natural bristle brush, along with specialized materials like a tack cloth. Achieving a professional-grade finish relies entirely on your strict adherence to these specialized tools and an uncompromising preparation process. The kitchen is a massive workspace. To manage it, we isolate the components. Step 1 is removing every door, drawer, and hinge from the cabinet frames. Once those identical-looking doors and hinges are in a pile, you face a severe logistical risk. If you guess which door goes to which frame during reassembly, the hinges will not align and the doors will hang crooked. To prevent this, you need a precise labeling methodology. Apply matching numbered tags to both the hidden back of the door and the inner lip of the cabinet frame as you take them apart. With the hardware organized, you have to address the invisible barrier to your new finish, residual kitchen grease. This oily buildup will completely block new paint from adhering to the wood. To break it down, you use a heavy-duty chemical degreaser called TSP, or trisodium phosphate. Washing the surfaces with a TSP solution strips away years of cooking residue. TSP also performs a secondary, microscopic function called etching. The chemical reaction slightly eats into the existing finish, leaving the wood surface textured and porous. By mapping the hardware and chemically decontaminating the wood, you create the exact conditions necessary for a permanent structural bond, rather than a temporary cosmetic layer. Now that the wood is clean and etched, we transition to the sanding phase. The goal here is to lightly smooth the surface using 120 or 200 grit sandpaper. Fully stripping the wood down to the bare grain is a waste of your time and energy. The chemical etching did the heavy lifting. You only need to lightly scuff the surface to create a uniform texture. This sanding process creates microscopic dust. If left behind, this debris mixes with your wet paint, resulting in a bumpy, peeling final coat. Standard shop vacuums will miss these fine particles. The mandatory final step in your prep is wiping down every inch of the wood with a tack cloth, a specialized sticky piece of fabric designed specifically to trap microscopic dust. You eliminate the invisible obstacles before a single drop of paint is applied. That meticulous cleaning is how you secure a flawless final finish. The cabinets are now stripped, sanded, and perfectly clean. You have a blank canvas ready to be protected. Your first layer is an oil-based stain-blocking primer. This seals the porous wood and prevents old stains or dark grain patterns from bleeding through to the top layer. If you are making an extreme color change, professionals use a specific efficiency tactic. By having the paint store mix your primer slightly lighter than your final paint color, you achieve superior opacity and coverage immediately. After the primer dries, you apply your high-gloss, oil-based enamel. This is where you use that mandatory natural bristle brush to lay the paint onto the wood. The most common amateur mistake at this stage is overworking the wet paint. If you continuously brush the same area trying to make it perfect, you will create permanent, visible stroke marks. Modern oil-based paints contain specialized chemical additives called leveling agents. Once the paint is applied, these agents operate independently, melting and settling uneven brush strokes into a perfectly flat, uniform layer. You must exercise strict patience here. Walk away and budget the required dry time so the chemistry can complete its work and completely solidify. Professional painting requires calculated restraint. You apply the product, and then you trust the leveling agents to do the work, rather than forcing the finish with manual labor. With the final coat fully cured, your components are ready for reinstallation in the kitchen framework. Follow your numbered labeling system strictly. This guarantees that your hinges align perfectly, and your doors close flush against the frames the very first time. For the hardware, you have two final options. You can take the cost-saving route and soak your old drawer pulls in a warm dish soap solution to clean them, or you can install new hardware for an immediate modern update. To protect this new finish long-term, avoid using abrasive chemical cleaners on the wood and lubricate the metal hinges with a drop of fine machine oil once a year. Through rigorous methodology, chemical prep, and patience, you achieve a $15,000 transformation. You upgrade the value of the entire home without paying for a total